Welcome back. Well, he is among an elite group of people, having sat down one-on-one with Barack Obama, but he's not your typical interviewer. This guy is a former inmate of San Quentin.
Quite a story it is. His story, called Lessons from San Quentin, chronicles his life as a young real estate entrepreneur in San Francisco when shady business dealings caught up with him, landing him behind bars for 4 years in that infamous prison. Joining us this morning is author Bill Dallas. Nice to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, that's quite a story. You know,
yeah.
So you were running. It wasn't it was sort of a scheme, I guess. You were taking investors.
A little bit like Bernard Madoff, a little bit, or alleged what he did.
Scheme, right?
In real estate in the Bay Area, and one thing led to another, and I made all the wrong choices. Plus, it was a recession of the early '90s, and our money got wiped out. We were borrowing monies from other projects to pay other projects, and it caught up with us, and we landed
in prison. You landed.
That's exactly at San Quentin.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I went through the greatest depression of my life, which you can probably imagine.
I can imagine that would be true.
And I was just on the ground. I was curled up in a ball, and I honestly thought I was going to die in prison. I contemplated suicide. I thought that was it. My life was over.
All right. So what was the moment where you realized, you know what, I got to get out of this?
You know, an inmate came by, and he literally picked me up by my bootstraps and walked me over to the old dungeons of San Quentin. And I didn't know what he was going to do to me or what. You know, you hear these stories.
Sure.
And he walks me over, he knocks on this door, the door opens up, he brings me in there, and sure enough, it was a job. He said, you know, this guy lying on the floor of San Quentin on the yard, it's not doing anybody any good. But if I can get him a job, maybe he'll start having self-esteem and all that. The job was called SQTV. Inside of San Quentin, they actually have a little TV production studio.
Wow.
A lot smaller than here, but it's someplace that you can actually learn a trade.
I had no idea.
And I ended up slowly but surely through the depression, sweeping floors, learning three-point lighting, interviewing. I ended up with my own little show called Profiles with Bill Dallas. I would go around the prison interviewing inmates.
Get out.
Yeah, and so I ended up, so when I got out of prison, years later, I actually had a trade, I had a resume, and I ended up going to work at a production company in Silicon Valley.
A success story from prison. We don't hear a lot about that. So how did you end up getting to an interview with, I guess it was then running for president, Barack
That's right.
Obama.
And so I started this company that we started doing satellite broadcasts all around the country, and we'd go around interviewing people. We'd interview people like Mel Gibson and others, and we got kind of the gig of the lifetime this past spring. We were able to go to Messiah College and interview Barack Obama as well as Hillary Clinton. And so it was kind of one of the coolest things, needless to say, that we ever did, and never thought that I'd end up, you know, being on the ground of San Quentin, curled up in a ball, wanting to die, and then one day I'd end up interviewing the president.
What were your general impressions of him at that time?
You know, he's very smooth. He knows what he's about, what he wants to do. He's collective, incredibly personable, and just a real nice person.
What we keep reading is just he exudes a confidence that you walk in the room and you feel it.
He does, but he also puts you at ease. Right. You know, you don't feel an ego.
Right.
And you know, I think he's going to do a great job because he's restoring people's confidence, and I think that's a great thing for our country.
You have a really interesting story in this book, but we have to mention who your son is, who is also quite famous. We had Dallas Mbimbo on the show because he and his mom came in fourth on The Amazing Race on CBS, and he's back here in studio. And I have on the PC here, we've got some video. We put them through their own Amazing Race here on Good Day Sacramento. Did you watch the show? And
this is when we went to IKEA?
We sent him over to IKEA.
Yeah.
This is the meatball challenge. What did you think watching him?
The meatball challenge.
It was just great because, you know, I mean, obviously I'm incredibly proud of him and his mom, and they did a great job. It was just so much fun to watch.
They were great. Yeah. I was rooting for. Hey, Dallas, hi.
Yes.
Yeah, they were great to have on our show, and they were fantastic on The Amazing Race. They totally smoked our team that we put up next.
I can understand. He's a very highly competitive person. So.
Well, the book, if you want to check it out, it's called Lessons from San Quentin. Bill Dallas is the author along with George Barna, and you can find it lots of places, found it on Amazon.com, so it's widely available. And really, really interesting read. And also some notes that some of the reviews find it quite relevant to what's happening in the economy today. Kind of a down-and-out message, how you pick yourself back up and put yourself back out there. So thanks for coming in and telling us about it today.
Well, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Well, Sin City, Mexico, maybe even Hong Kong. We're live with Travel Zoo. We're checking out some of the great vacation deals.